Christmas Eve, and 12 of the clock. Now they are all on their knees, an elder said, as we sat in a flock by the embers in a hearthside ease. We pictured the meek, mild creatures where they dwelt in their strawy pen, nor did it occur to one of us there to doubt they were kneeling then. So fair a fancy few would weave in these years, yet I feel, if someone said on Christmas Eve, "Come, see the Oxen kneel in the lonely Barton by yonder coombe our childhood used to know," I should go with him in the gloom, hoping it might be so. That is The Oxen by Thomas Hardy, and I regret that I cannot do the Wessex accent to do it justice. It is a poem about the innocence of youth and the cynicism of adulthood, the cynicism that still wishes the childish dream were true. With greater years, with greater experience, Hardy's character would still like to go down to the farm buildings at midnight on Christmas Eve, hoping that when he got there, the animals would be kneeling in a pious faith, just as he had been told in his youth. For many in society today, our attitudes towards Christmas are not dissimilar. People remember with fondness the innocent beliefs of their youth, the nativity plays, the children's carols, the eagerness for the arrival of the great day with all that came with it. I wonder if the great elongation of the Christmas season, with its jumpers and its decorations and its special events starting sometime in mid-November, is partly born out of a desire to recapture this childhood faith, this childhood eagerness. If somehow we all want to go down to the farm, longing to see the oxen kneel, hoping there is something there, but not quite daring to believe. Hardy was writing about his own faith, a romantic, nostalgic faith, clinging to its well-loved high church traditions and yet unable to cope with the darkness and evil of the First World War. It turned out that an innocent childhood faith wasn't enough. Our faith means little if it is no more than the faith of a half-believed youthful story or a primary school nativity play, wonderful as such occasions may be. Because in the midst of Christmas sweetness and joy, there is darkness. The darkness of fear, of Herod, of seeking refuge in a foreign land, of the sword that would pierce Our Lady's heart, and yes, of the betrayal, suffering, and death of the one whose birth we celebrate today. But the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. This is not a childhood happily ever after story. Today, we celebrate the core of our faith. We celebrate the fact that God, eternal, unchanging, all-powerful, all-knowing, abandoned all of that, took on our human flesh and transformed us. God became human. God took on everything that is human, and so made everything that is human holy. God took on the darkest moments of our human existence, and so we have the promise that those moments are never the end. In this life, we will never have a happily ever after. But because of this child, because of this day, no story ever need end in bleak desolation. Because Christ is born in Bethlehem and we are saved. Whatever our Christmas is like, whether we are yearning for childhood innocence, enjoying it in its fullness, or tired and cynical about the whole affair, Christ is born. I began with Hardy. I'll end with Betjeman. He too wrote fondly of the romance of Christmas, but he ended on a different note. No love that in a family dwells, no carolling in frosty air, nor all the steeple-shaking bells can with this single truth compare, that God was man in Palestine and lives today in bread and wine. May he who was born in the stable, lived and died like us and for us, live in us, now and always. Amen.